Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to make a new series called the PvP Meta Week Discussion, where I'm going to talk about PvP weekly meta with the units, bans, and ups units by looking at the top 100 players, teams, and units that they use. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, to start things off, we're gonna take a look at the ban units. So the ban units is Shaolin at 6 cost, definitely not usable at 6 cost, that's too much. Shifuyu Nanahara at 5 cost, again not really usable. 2 ban is just too much for you to use. Kao Wang at 4 cost, Yang Harim at 4 cost, Gaeyun at 4 cost, and Gaeyun is still good here. In my opinion, you can still use Gaeyun, definitely still use Gaeyun if you have Gaeyun. And Elizabeth Pendragon at 5 cost. In my opinion, this ban is a little bit too much for a unit like Elizabeth Pendragon that is an assassin that needs to be deployed immediately, and the flexibility of the cost needs to be lower than 5 in my opinion, because you gotta deploy Elizabeth in a whim. You can't plan your deployment with Elizabeth since she is an assassin, and you need to play Elizabeth reactively instead of proactively. And if you take a look at the up units, Hayami is going to be a 2 cost unit this week, and Sylvia is also going to be a 2 cost unit this week, and the last one is Nanahara Chinatsu at the 2 cost this week also. In my opinion, Hayami and Sylvia up cost right here is really impactful in the meta, especially in the Titan meta this week, and we're gonna take a look just so in a second. And if you take a look at the top 3 players right now, Ruin Art, Pepe, and Gojo, none of them are running the Titan and Mech teams anymore because of the Sylvia buff. That is the reason why not a lot of people are running Titan anymore in the top tier of PvP, because Sylvia's stun can actually go through Titan's hit stun immunity. And with Hayami right there also to support Sylvia's damage and everything, the snipers with such a low cost is just going to be too much with strikers that has higher cost like Titan and Shifuyu Nanahara with the ban right now. And if you take a look at Esterosa is also not used in the top tier of PvE since last week. Actually, since the previous week, not a lot of people are also running Esterosa, just because in my opinion Esterosa is easily counterable in the PvP, just because she is easily stunned, she is easily CC'd. So if you're running into an Esterosa, just stun her with Sylvia, Gaeyun, and if you have Joshyun, yeah, stun her with Joshyun because he can counter Esterosa's ability. So yeah, Esterosa is easily counterable, guys. Don't panic when you see an Esterosa. And if you take a look at the top 20 right now, the top 20 players, only the 12 players and the 14th players are running Titan in their team, and their team is not a pure mech team. Still, they are using a bunch of, like ops units this week. So yeah, mech team is not as rampant as the previous week. So if you're going to run a team that is weak to strikers and Titans, just run Sylvia and Hayami at 2 cost. They are going to be really good at dealing with those strikers, and you also need a good front line to tank their damage. And if you have those 2 recipes, Sylvia, Hayami, another sniper like Adamant Sniper, a really good underrated unit in my opinion, and a good frontline like Ryan Ferrier, Irie, and Tank, definitely you can defeat those strikers, especially Titans and Esterosa, easily in my opinion. So in my opinion, the most interesting team out of the top 10s is Jajeving team at 7th place right now. He has included Ingrid Johanna in his team, and Ingrid is actually a really underrated unit in my opinion. Not a lot of people are using her right now, and she is a really good assassin to substitute Elizabeth, especially with her ban right now. And just like I said previously, 5 cost for an assassin is too much, right? 4 cost is pretty good. Okay, 4 cost is enough for Elizabeth, especially with her caliber of damage. That is good. But 5 cost, the flexibility isn't there anymore. So judging right here have included Ingrid in his team, and Ingrid is also an assassin that can evade attacks and just be a nuisance while not provide as much damage as Elizabeth. She is a nuisance and can distract other teams, your opponent teams, really well. So if you have Ingrid right now sitting in your storage and you have to build her, in my opinion, build her. It's going to be worth it for PvP wise, okay? She's going to be really good to substitute for someone like Elizabeth or maybe like Kang So-young in the future. So she's a really good R assassin, and if you're looking for a cheap assassin to build for PvP, look no further than for Ingrid, as she is really good. So in my opinion, the Gleipnir ban is just too much this week. 40% attack and HP minus is just too much. It's too much of a disadvantage to use Gleipnir in my opinion. So if you're looking for a budget ship, look no further than the Stellar, as the Stellar is just a really solid ship overall if you want to substitute the Gleipnir, or if you're using a mech team, you can use the Abraham, okay? So don't use the Gleipnir this week in my opinion. And just to finish things off, I just want to recap everything. Mech team is not as rampant as the previous week, so you are free to use your team however you want. But in my opinion, include Hayami and Sylvia right there and a strong front line. Either it's Ryan Ferrier, Irie, or even Esterosa. Esterosa is a really good tank, but not a really good damage dealer, so don't panic too much about Esterosa, okay? And as for the Elizabeth bans, in my opinion, that's a little bit too much for an assassin unit. So if you're looking for a budget, kind of like a budget substitute for Elizabeth, go for Ingrid if you really like the assassin kind of units. And if you don't want to build Ingrid, since Ingrid is probably only going to be usable in PvP, you can go for Joshiyun. And also Joshiyun, the gender bender of Joshiyun, is a really good striker this week since Chifuyu Nanahara is banned right now. So yeah, another good striker to substitute Chifuyu Nanahara alongside with the other tanks is Joshiyun. Okay, so that's it. That's my PvP meta discussion on this week. And again, this is just a discussion, and this is all just my opinion and the way how I look at the top players team. And if you are having a different opinion than me, then definitely comment down below what your opinion is and why, you know, a certain unit is good, a certain team is good, or why the mech teams and mech units are still really good this week. And yeah, as usual, goodbye, have a nice day, and keep playing CounterSide.